Welcome back to the Shrink Wrap Show. I'm your host, John, and I'm here with Pam and Tahliah. And I have a question for you. Do you remember distinctly a time when you first started to think something might be wrong with you? I don't think any of us wake up one day and just say, I'm this way. I think things have shaped us along the way to get us there. And so let's talk about that. I'm going to start off with just telling a little bit about a moment that I can remember. Mm-hmm. So I came from a family that was poor. I was the youngest of 5 kids, single mom family. And we were going to church at the time, and we were in a private school connected to that church. And somewhere in the middle of 2nd grade, we left. And we left because we were the poor family, and, you know, there can be some tension there if you feel like you're not received well or perceived well. And I think my mom made the decision for us that we were leaving. And, as a kid, I didn't know I was poor. I didn't know maybe I wasn't perceived great among others. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we leave middle of 2nd grade. Fast forward a year and a half-ish, and my 10th birthday is coming around. And I want to throw a party. And, we don't have a nice house. It's, pretty chaotic. 5 kids, single mom. Mm-hmm. But we do our best, and we clean everything up, and we decorate. And my birthday's in the summer, granted. And so it's kind of hard to nail people down, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom starts inviting people and calling people, and her recollection of this is some people said, "Oh, well, if it's rainy, we'll come, but if it's sunny, we have plans to go fishing or camping or something like that." All the things she told me. The day of the party, no one shows up.
Mm. Mm. I felt that.
Yeah, me too.
Except for the 3-year-old little boy across the street. Mm. And I don't know why, but there's a picture of me. I wish I could find it, but my mom has a picture of me on that day, like sitting there with the decorated house, just looking upset. And I remember, there's a lot of memories that shape us, and micro interactions almost, that kind of shape things. Mm. But I remember from that moment on, because I had left the church and the school that I knew, and I was still holding on to, I have these friends, what about so-and-so and so-and-so?
Yeah.
And then no one showed up, and it felt like that was over. It was just everything that was good and that I was used to, was like, it's done. Mm. And now I'm in this other world completely. Kind of felt like thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the world is not what I thought it was. Mm-hmm. I'm not who I thought I am. Mm-hmm. And I think I started carrying this message around that was like, I'm not going to be protected. I'm not worth being protected. I'm not worth being shown up for. So that's even a new thing that I still start to see in my interactions or internal dialogue, even to this day, of like, oh, I think it's coming from how I raised myself, right? The story I told myself. So that is, what would you call this? What questions do you have? Because we came out of a triggered episode, but where we're going today is things that shaped us, where the actual triggers come from.
Can I just say thank you for sharing that?
Thank you for listening.
I'm just a poor boy. Sorry, I was thinking Bohemian Rhapsody the whole time. I don't know why.
That song always triggered me.
But anyways, thank you for sharing that. And I felt that.
Yeah, you can feel that.
Yeah.
And almost everyone can relate to some kind of moment in their life like that, where they realized, oh, what? I thought I understood the world and myself, and now it's looking kind of different, and I may have to fend for myself. I may have to, and the natural reaction to a moment like that is, once I kind of process it a little bit, is I got to try a whole lot harder to make sure I never have an empty party, or forget about it altogether.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
It's one or the other. The other thing that's very poignant about what you said is we just dealt with triggers. I will now be hypervigilant about a party that I plan.
Mm-hmm.
Or I won't plan any ever again. But likely that because that's such a wound,
mm-hmm.
and so it just etched in me because I had such an expectation about what this would be, and we worked so hard to make it happen, that I'm going to now overcompensate. I'm going to triple invite the number of people to make sure that at least 1/3 of them show up.
Doing
Right.
a lot of math.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want to feel a catastrophic loneliness like that again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to also say, interestingly enough, you could take a person who has that experience and they could just have a good old time with that 3-year-old and not necessarily have processed it
Yeah.
as something painful.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I think of the experience that my daughter had when she was graduating from 5th. And she had very frizzy hair. She's half African American. And she was wearing the clothes she picked for her graduation, which I never would have picked for her. And a woman came up to her and said, that doesn't match what you have on, honey. And I would have walked away from that and said, Mom, can we get in the car now and leave?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, she's such not a nice person, Mom, let's go eat. And it didn't even impact her.
Yeah.
We're different in how we take in stimuli and experiences.
So it could be nature, it could be nurture, it could be all sorts of different
All
things
sorts of things.
that happen. But yeah, I really do resonate with your story there too. And had a similar situation happen to me, not with a birthday party, but I was thinking that people would show up for me and they didn't. And I think whenever we get into the idea of like, do people just not like me? Am I not likable? That kind of thing, that inner ego of us gets fractured or hurt. And we've got to separate our thought from that and say, is it me or is it something else?
Happenstance. Is it the situation?
Is it because there's a blizzard outside? That was with my situation. It was snowing and no one could come, and everybody was sick. So to me, I was just like, well, no one cares, but it's not. So it could be happenstance.
Well, the other piece, just to get some, research in there. If we look at Piaget's model of cognitive development, you would have just been sort of coming out of the egocentric phase, and your thought, just naturally, that you would have been capable of having would have been, it's something about me.
Yes.
So this is about, I do personalize that, typically at that age, and so there's got to be something wrong with me.
Yep.
So at that
Otherwise-
age, I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard that children, more likely than not, will always. So when something happens to us, we kind of have to make up the difference in our mind by we have to place it within. We have to make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
And so in that processing or making sense of it, a child will almost always internalize it, make that I'm the problem.
That's all I can. That's all I can fathom. That's the only place I know how to go so far cognitively. I don't have the capacity of holding two truths true
Wow.
at the same time. And again, another thing I like to remind parents about with their kids is they're great observers, but they're horrible at interpreting what it all means. And so the meaning that they give it. And so kids need to rely on adults to help them by recognizing, wow, this has got to be a difficult moment for my child, and how often parents aren't able to do that. And hopefully there would be someone else who can to kind of reframe that.
So more often than not, when it's not reframed or processed well, this does what?
You're left with that core concept about yourself. There's something wrong with me. I have to try harder. I have to try less. What should I do different so that the situation next time is different? Because I don't want to feel that pain ever again, that loneliness ever again, that it feels like fear.
Yeah.
To me, it reminds me of Inside Out, the Pixar movie, where
Such
core memories, whether they're good or bad, this is like
That's a core memory.
a blue
Yep.
ball, right?
Yep, they all are in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this what is called imprinting? Is this an imprinted, or is this not that?
It can be.
Or what's the psychological term here? I don't want to get out of my lane.
I mean, it's interactions, it's exposures, listen, we figure out we define who we are on the basis of what people say and show me to be. So it's this compilation of, I was seen.
Yeah.
They said this. That happened like that. Nuances of looks and gestures, and was I picked ever on the team?
The team
Where did the teacher place me in the classroom?
Yeah.
Who did I sit next to? Did they forget to pick me up after school? Multiple times.
The term you're looking for is core schema. So is it something positive, negative? Are we seeing more negative interactions, events, activities, things said, spoken over us, all of those things? Is it more negative or positive that's shaping our brain? And if it is more of a negative core schema, a core thought, core belief, then we're going to be looking for all of the negative things in the environment. And we're going to discount all of the positive things because it doesn't fit the brain chemistry.
Also, you're talking, John, about a rupture that happened right there, right? So when a rupture happens, to repair a rupture, and we're all experiencing ruptures all the time, we need the 4 S's, right? So I need to be seen, soothed, safe, and secure. So if we take your scenario and the little 3-year-old leaves now, and now we're left with the balloons and the whatever else is there, who repaired that situation for you, right? Yeah. Did you feel seen? Were you soothed? Did you feel safe and secure again? Were you able to talk through your feelings were you able to cry? Were you able to be angry? Because all of that would be a normal reaction, and we need to get that stuff out, because remember, we're bottom up. I got to sense this. I got to process this. And then I go over to I make sense of it.
Yeah, John Bowlby did the attachment and loss
book and research. Yeah.
And the research shows that in order for secure attachments to happen, you have to come from a point of connection and re-secure safe haven and proximity, and that's what causes our different attachment styles. And so, the research goes to, you got to get back to a point of connection of, am I seeing?
And a new story.
Because
it's the story. It's not even what happens. Like I was explaining before with my daughter, with the clothes and the bow and the hair that's poofy. It's not even it's the interpretation and the perception that connected with the event.
Yeah.
Now, what we know too, though, is as things happen repeatedly along a similar genre, this is going to kind of deepen that belief, or that core schema, as Tahliah said, that it must be true that I'm not enough, or it must be true that I'm bad, or it must be true that because look, and look, and look, and there's another one. So that reinforcement of a negative message can get really grounded in me and become such a strong core belief that, the experts say to change that, and I got to create some new neural pathways, and I've got to have some other data that comes in that's different.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah. And just telling myself a different story even before I believe it.
You didn't just experience something. You decided what it meant
Right.
to you. So about you.
And I think, I mean, at least for me, we don't even really know we're doing that. We're just interpreting.
Yep.
We're just decoding the message.
You're
we
trying
don't
to
even,
make sense
we're
of
not,
it.
We're not writing the story. We're, we're not consciously writing the story. We're just, receiving it the way we receive it.
Absolutely.
And I really believe that whether we're therapists or whether we're a parent or a friend, that we're standing in that liminal space for someone of where they are to where their better version of themselves, the more true version of themselves can be, and taking them there by our actions and by our words.
Yeah.
And holding that space for them to help them see what they can't see yet. We're doing this all the time in the office. But again, in relationships, think about marital relationship and how helpful that can be. I'm sure with your wife, hey, John, here's how I see you. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that heals those places.
Yeah, I've had moments like that with good friends too, where something happens, whether I'm not valued or seen or feel rejected, and it just really kind of sinks my ship, like emotionally for a day or maybe even two, and I'm just playing all the scenarios in my head, and
And then recovering
Right.
with the passage of time or some repetition
yeah,
or some, phone a friend and
Yeah.
tell me I'm okay.
yeah, and it's crazy how I can. One of these scenarios was around music, and something wasn't working out the way I thought it was going to, and it actually felt really hurtful. And in my mind, I'm telling myself, like, I guess it's because of this, and this, and and some of those things are like, I guess it's because I don't fit the part or I don't look the part, I guess it's because they're thoughtless people. And I guess it's because, a lot of negative stuff, whether it's about me or them. And I'm talking to my friend, he's like, all of that could be true. But what's also true...
What else could be true?
Right.
Yeah, what else is true is like, you're John Bowen who moved from Alaska to Nashville and got this amazing job doing this. And, you're amazing. And just because this thing didn't happen doesn't exclude this. But it's crazy how much of my own inner monologue is so leaning into the negative.
Yeah.
It's that fear that you stored related to that past experience and others, and then just projecting out into the future that, yep, I got to protect myself already over here. And so I've got to think of all of the possible reasonings, all of the possible rationale for what happened right now. I need to understand it, and I'm sure it's going to reinforce what I already think in terms of my negative core schema. It's just got to be that. And it's true how deep and fast you can go dip down into that place of, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I know.
You
I've
are.
been there. I've been there because, being adopted and then having the parents I had, my story was no one wants me.
Yeah.
No, nobody wants me. And gosh, if these people are going to keep me, I better perform. And so I can't mess up. And so a mess up, as simple as playing the wrong note on the piano or falling when I was running, was, I'm not going to be wanted. I'm not going to be wanted. I'm not going to be. And projecting that out, Kurt Thompson says, I take those past experiences and I create a story about my present and future based upon that. And that's what we're saying is, I've got to challenge those cognitions. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, that's what we're doing. We are reframing for you. We're taking those negative cognitions and overlaying with positive ones.
Yep.
And again, we talk a lot about neuroplasticity, but that's my brain's ability to reorganize itself. And that is going to be through repetition, through mindfulness, bringing myself back into the present, thought challenging. Hold on, just like your friend challenged for you, the goal would be you learn to do that for yourself. And that even if this thing gets triggered out here in the future, It doesn't go as deep. It doesn't stay as long. It doesn't feel as hard or as true. I can fight my way back, talk my way out of that pit quicker.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can do it alone.
No.
I think at first, at least you can't, right?
It's hard to
It
do
reminds
it
me of the
alone.
Johari's window, right?
Yeah.
For anyone who where you have some blind spots and you need others.
Yep.
Like I needed my friend to be like, hey, oh, that's true. And this whole other story is true as well. And once he helps me rehearse that, maybe I can then go off in the deep end myself.
Yeah.
Because remember, what's happening is when I feel that fear, that rejection, that negativity, my brain now is only looking for more reinforcement for that. It's going into full mode, into that file in my computerized brain, find all of that data, and it is not looking for positive. So I have to get it externally. And once I have that new repertoire of external, even if I have to have it written down at first, it will begin to make its way into those pathways to create, to shift over to a new direction much more quickly over time. But we're going to borrow it and have a person help us make that repair until we can do it ourselves.
We can be transformed by the renewal of our minds.
Amen.
So
Yeah. Do you want to?
I think that goes with us. We need each other.
Yeah.
And hurt people, and it's the same as healing people can heal people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take every thought captive.
Yeah.
Every single thought captive. And I will also decide how much airtime I'm going to give to this thing. And sometimes it's hard to get out of that feeling that I have that takes me deep. But I can start to move. Some of the things that help neuroplasticity is going to be movement, foods, mindfulness practices, healthy, safe connections, any of those things.
I'm glad you brought that up because we started this episode by saying, do you remember when you thought something might be wrong with you? And I think that almost maybe implies that psychology can get us to a place where we're back to perfect or something. And I don't know if that's true, right? Because if you're a Christian or what have you, kind of one of your core theologies is we are born with something wrong with us. It doesn't feel that way. Like we judge others by their actions, right? And we judge ourselves by our intentions, right? We always put ourselves in we give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, but it's inescapable that we're born into a world where some bad stuff's going to happen to us.
There's imperfection. Because, suffering will happen.
Yeah, I mean, from the very beginning, they were ashamed. They hid themselves because they knew that they were wrong in what they did. So
she chose the apple instead of God, and he chose her instead of God.
We don't know it was an apple. It could have been.
Could have been a pomegranate.
Whatever it was, they chose wrong.
Either way, they chose wrong, and
then they knew.
We have to reconcile. Like, is it okay for us to fight that inner core schema that we have with the I don't know what the words I'm trying to say with this, but we have to be able to be okay with wrestling with the idea that we will never be perfect.
Right.
But we can transform our minds by being in connection with people, and living in connection with people is what's going to help us heal those wounds that we have.
It makes me think that from a theological standpoint, that even the reason why that happened to us is because we're in a separate disconnected situation
Isolated.
where we went through that isolated.
Yep.
And what
Exactly.
we're built for, what we need is safety, is connection, right?
I believe
And
that from
a reintegration.
a reintegration, I believe that from that very beginning and traveling through all of these generations, there is a huge amount of real estate in our neural pathways that hold shame. And that's what you went to.
Yeah.
I feel exposed. I feel vulnerable. I feel rejected. I feel abandoned. I feel not seen. I feel not understood. And I don't want to go out there again because that hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're working, I believe, on cleaning up those neural pathways to get to the best possible version of ourselves in a world that will always contain suffering as part of the human condition.
Yeah.
I think it's a good place to pause. Because we're talking about the things that shape who we think we are. And in the next episode, we can discuss, is this who I am? Or is just the story I've been telling myself, and behaving out of that story.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Sounds good.
That sounds like a great place to stop.
All right. Thanks for joining us today. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, share this. Just let people know about it. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to share this with people, help them have fun, and create a community. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
We only want to hear positive thoughts.
Right. Positively reinforce this episode.
Yes.